Garden of the Salish Sea curriculum is the Whatcom County affiliate of the nonprofit Pacific Shellfish Institute, which is based in Olympia. We have worked to support students and teachers since 2012 with a shellfish-based K-12 curriculum aligned with NGSS.
Hi everyone, today we are at Birch Bay State Park to give you a virtual field trip.
My name is Lindsay, and today my partner Catherine and I will be taking you on a virtual beach walk for the third video in the Birch Bay State Park series. Let's take a moment to recognize where we are. The Coast Salish peoples have a saying, when the tide is out, the table is set. The Coast Salish people rely on the natural resources of the Salish Sea and have been stewards of this land and the traditional and customary fishing grounds for thousands of years, and they continue to rely on these resources today. Both Birch Bay State Park and Drayton Harbor are important Whatcom County shellfish protection districts with recreational and commercial shellfish resources. Here are some tips for how you can be a good steward while exploring the intertidal zone. For more details on these tips, visit our family beach exploration guide. One thing we noticed while walking the beach today was how brownish red the water was. This is because of a harmful algal bloom called red tide. While the water isn't always brightly colored during algae blooms, in this case the algae is so concentrated you can see it with your eyes.
Red tide is a natural phenomenon that occurs in late spring, early summer, when excessive nutrients, high temperatures, and ideal field conditions in a given body of water permit the rapid cell growth of a group of algae known as dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates are single-celled organisms which move by propelling themselves with two long ciliated hairs called flagella. When favorable environmental conditions for red tide occur, along with little mixing of water currents, excess nutrients allow algal cells to proliferate or rapidly reproduce into blooms, and thus accumulate in large concentrations in the water column. While some algal blooms can be beneficial to an aquatic ecosystem by providing rapid food supply for larger predators, some species produce harmful biotoxins as a natural result of their short-lived life cycle and processes of decay. Such processes can quickly reduce the amounts of available oxygen in the water and can turn the pigment of the water brown to red, leading to harmful conditions. These harmful algal blooms, or what we call HABs, can be difficult to control and detect. In the Pacific Northwest, the primary causing dinoflagellate for red tide toxicity is the species Alexandrium catenella. There are 3 species of Alexandrium dinoflagellates that can cause red tide, but Alexandrium catenella is the most common in our local waters. What makes red tide an environmental concern and threat to shellfish, marine organisms, and to people, however, has to do with the type of dinoflagellate algae involved, and the concepts of bioaccumulation and biomagnification. Bioaccumulation is the direct consumption of one organism by another, which may or may not involve the ingestion of an organism already containing or having consumed red tidal algae. Shellfish are filter feeders and can filter several gallons of water per day depending on species. Shellfish filter feed on minute planktonic creatures in the water column by their siphons. As the water containing the microscopic algae and toxins is continually filtered and ingested, high concentrations of the algae are exposed to and accumulated within the shellfish tissues. When larger food chain predators such as sea stars, birds, and people consume the shellfish, the concentration of the contaminating algae is increased 10 times in parts per million, and thus in larger quantities, magnifying the exposure of concentration and degree of risk. This results in biomagnification. Such consumption of shellfish, therefore, exposed to a red tide, can lead to paralytic shellfish poisoning and harmful reactions in people that cause irritable stomach problems and/or serious illnesses. Red tides, or HABs, can occur quickly and anywhere, thus making them difficult to monitor and control in natural coastal ecosystems. Computer modeling and scientific graphic forecasting are a few technological tools that strive to monitor sea surface temperature data and information about the flow of currents to help predict possible bloom sites. However, simple methods of prevention include reducing the amount of fertilizers and excess nutrient wastewater runoff that can pollute a water body and heighten algal bloom stimuli. If planning to harvest shellfish, touch, handle, or consume edible marine resources, you should always check for signs at the harvest location and with the Shellfish Safety Hotline for current existence statuses of red tide to reduce risk.
Visit our website at gardensalishsea.org for more virtual beach walks, family activities throughout the summer and fall, and sign up for our newsletter. You can also take the Salish Sea Challenge, which has ideas for keeping our watershed healthy.